This is definitely my favorite Endwalker map so far. There's still one more map. I think the last map is either going to be Corvus or the planet's core. Maybe a combination of both. Because they keep bringing up Corvus. They keep bringing up Corvus. They ain't gonna keep bringing up Corvus if we're not gonna go there, right? You know what I'm saying? All the creations are happy. That makes me happy too. Now you've seen what I do. Was it everything you were expecting? I thoroughly enjoyed myself, at the end most of all. What, want to apologize for forcing me to help, do you? Save your breath. You didn't force me to do anything. I merely chose the most expeditious way to have done with an impediment to our business. I'm tired. Leave me be. Tell me, Mana, in the course of watching me, have you learned aught of value? Dynamis, you say? Curious that such an obscure phenomenon should be of interest to you. Chief Hermes, what good fortune to find you here. Is something the matter? The Lycon, I'm afraid it's done it again. No sooner did we release one from observation that it set upon the nearby Occupetes, slaughtering them. Was the creature hungry, or somehow provoked? I had just fed them myself, and the Occupetes were keeping a wide berth. It is the nature of the Lycon that is to blame, their innate viciousness. Temperament aside, it is an outstanding creation, perfect in form and function. Though it may not be suited for release, I have no doubt the Bureau will accept its concept or preservation. In any case, there's no point in postponing the inevitable. Doros will revert them all once the paperwork is in order. Where is the scene of the incident? Just off the path to the 12 Wonders. As you make your way, you should see it on the left. I don't know if Doris is still there, however. Hermes, wait! If this is part of his work, then I would observe. We follow. It's heavy. Hermes' pain. A fearsome beast, this Lycon, but where is it now? The Occupete is no easy prey. With its hooves and horns, it was designed to be formidable, even on land, and yet it didn't stand a chance against the Lycon. The lacerations and burns are unmistakable. A Lycon was indeed responsible. But the creature is nowhere to be seen. Doros must have taken it away. The man makes his base at the 12 Wonders. I shall go and seek him out there. Emmett Silk and I will search the area for good measure, just to make sure the Lycon didn't escape. My thanks. Let's meet at the 12 Wonders when you have finished. I will go on ahead. Please follow with Mana. Come, come. It's down this path and over the bridge. Ooh, look at this guy. Ignorant. Huh. There it is. The 12 Wonders. Hermes is looking for Doros. Let's look for Doros too. He's a man with long, blonde hair, I think. I'll know him when I see him. Doros! That's Doros! Well now, if it isn't Medion, what brings you here? Ah, I thought I heard familiar voices. I didn't realize you two had decided to help me search for Doros. Thank you. You're in charge of the Lycones, I believe. Where are they now? Out in the fields in restraints. Frenzies as they were, I couldn't well return them to Catissis. Once I've submitted my report, I'll see them reverted without delay. It's as he says, the beasts are indeed quite ferocious. You're one of the 14. What brings you here? Nothing you need concern yourself with, as you were. We've heard the news that a Lycone slaughtered Okipites. As the observer in charge, you are of the opinion that they are not fit to be released? I am. Their abnormal aggression and exceptional strength makes for a highly problematic combination. It matters not where they are released. Lycones would threaten other species and upset the natural order. Could it be that the specimens observed are an outlier? Highly unlikely. We created a good many of them. All exhibited the same tendencies. Even when we used Kairos to begin with a fresh slate, their behavior was unchanged. Kairos. A memory reconfiguration system. The chief himself created it. It allows us to erase or alter memories that we may observe creations in different environmental conditions without needing to remake them from scratch. Quite impressive and potentially dangerous, depending on the intensity of the etheric emissions. Pasturat may wish to have words with you. Rest assured, I've kept all values within prescribed limits, and to prevent misuse, its applications are limited to those authorized by the Chief Overseer. Do not misunderstand. To manipulate a subject's memories is an intrusive act I deeply abhor, but it is still preferable to execution. Come now, Chief. Let's not be so melodramatic. What was born of ether is simply being reduced to its original state. I know the distinctions concern you, but we mustn't lose sight of the bigger picture, making rational choices for the sake of a more prosperous star. If a creation cannot be properly studied, even with the aid of Kairos, we remake it. If a creation is deemed a detrimental existence, we unmake it. 'Tis all for the greater good, and none question the necessity of such routine processes. I understand these things, I do. I would never think to unleash a clear and undeniable threat unto the world. Yet insignificant though their individual lives may be next to all creation, it is all the Lycones have. Before we seal their fates, we owe it to these beings to exhaust all options, to ensure that nothing has been overlooked. If you insist, let me provide you with a full report, and we may take it from there. Would it be possible for us to attend a discussion? That Emet-Selk may better carry out his duties. By all means. Pray show them to the meeting room. We have a duty to the star, this I know, but it doesn't mean we don't also have a responsibility to the lives we bring into existence here. The man, other beings are just things, to be used and controlled, like magic. That's what Hermes told me once. I fear this discussion may take a while, during which time... Medion, are you feeling unwell? It's not me, Hermes, it's you. I won't go to the meeting. I'll stay with Mana. Loath I am to impose, may I leave Medion in your care again? I am in your debt, if you'll excuse me. Can you help me with something, Mana? The meeting will make Hermes sad. I want to cheer him up with a flower. Hermes likes flowers the most, of all the creations in Emplis. Most creations are expected to be interesting, or beautiful, or strong, better in some way. But flowers are different. They're designed to suit our emotions, what we feel and what we convey. Hermes likes that. I can't make flowers, so I'll search for one, and I want you to search with me. Let's start here, at the 12 Wonders. Vibrant purple flowers bigger than your hands adorn the tree. Oh, so big and bright, I love them. But they might be too bright. You have to think of the recipient. That's what Hermes said. A tall, slender tree rises before you. You crane your neck to look for flowers. No flowers. If there were apples, we could cover them in syrup. Let's head outside next. Don't worry, we won't wander far. An array of beautiful flowers grow in the bed, their mix of colors forming a pattern. These would be better for Hermes, but they're hedged in. That means we shouldn't touch them. They're either under observation or poisonous. Any other place should be fine, though. Let's keep looking. Set on a tall, thin stalk, the oddly shaped flower is mesmerizing in its undulations. Oh, a conion! A flower that can move! When Hermes wasn't looking, it shot seeds at him. Not a good gift, maybe. But you're good, Mana, at spotting flowers. We'll find something soon. Nothing promising nearby. At best, common-looking grasses with some few tiny flowers. Nothing around here. Ah! Over there, Mana, something big, huge! A terrible stench reminiscent of sodden old boots pervades the air. Without a doubt, the culprit is the marble-like creature before you. It's an Adornus! The things around its mouth look like petals, but the flowers are the orbs on its head. When Hermes inspected it, it swallowed him up. He didn't leave his room for days. What do you think, Mana? Would you like it? So not this one either. Finding a good flower, it's harder than I thought. I'm sorry, Mana, but can we search a little more? Maybe as far as the fields over there. I'll pick something after that, I promise. Lush green fields stretch out before you, ending where the sky begins. Aw, there's nothing. The shiny thing over there, what could it be? Oh, Elpis flowers, they're here too. Hermes likes and dislikes them at the same time. Like me, they're entelekis. Like me, they feel his pain and turn dark. That's only for Hermes, though. For others, they're always white and bright. Truly, the flower was dark in your home? Then, do you have it too? A dark emotion? I see. Hermes has felt the same, a shortness of breath, the walls closer and closer, but only him. No one else feels it. Please, Mana, won't you lend them to me? Your doubt and anxiety. I want to make the flower dark, I want you to make the flower dark in front of Hermes. He has been in a dark place since before he created me. He needs to know that he isn't there alone. That others are sad too. Truly, you'll do it? Thank you, Mana. Thank you. It means more to me than I can say. I can't wait to see how Hermes reacts. Let's go back and fetch him. It seems they're still talking. Let's wait until they've finished.
Hermes!
Oh, you were waiting for me.
You've finished talking?
Yes, we've come to a decision. My thanks for keeping Meteon company. Emmett Selk and Hythlodaeus have already retired to their rooms. There is room for you too, if you would follow me.
Wait! I want to show you something first.
Elpis flowers?
Go on. You're not the only one, Hermes. Others feel sad too. You're not alone.
I see Meteon has shared much with you. May we talk a moment?
Sonic, come back. A real life Sonic.
I do not think it wrong that we live for the star, that we strive to make it a better place. And yet, in carrying out my duties here, there are times when I am plagued by doubt. Do you recall what Hythlodaeus said when we first spoke of my nomination? Death is the privilege of those who have fulfilled their purpose, a choice they embrace of their own free will. And when they depart, it is always beautiful. Perhaps it is, but only for man. Creations that he deems useless are discarded with nary a second thought. Some scarcely born into the world, afforded a handful of breaths before life and potential are abruptly extinguished. We make an effort to spare them the pain, but they sense what awaits. Rage and anguish and cower and fear, and it is not beautiful. Yet no one cares. No one. So fixated are we upon the duty that we do not pause to question the method. Pain and suffering, confusion and despair, writ plain in the eyes of those poor creatures. Yet no one sees. We turn a blind eye and carry on in blissful ignorance. Not amiss. And always, always the blossoms shine pure and white. A contradiction so blatant I could scream, want to scream. How can you all accept this aberration? Then I wonder, am I the aberration for thinking thus? And I am filled with dread. But now I know I'm not alone. Not the only one for whom the flowers weep. I won't ask what you thought as you kneeled beside the Elpis, or if you only did it at Meteon's insistence. Nevertheless, I thank you. To know that you too have experienced suffering is a comfort. To so willingly lend an ear to ease my burden, you are a strange one. The stars in the heavens. Know you what they are? Though it is too far to tell, each glittering light could be a world not unlike Aetheris. A world filled with life. So many stars, so many lives. For us, there may be no higher purpose than to live for our world. But what of the other living beings out there? What is it that gives their lives meaning? That drives them day after day after day? To pose that question to our undiscovered cousins, I created beings of Dynamis, who can traverse the vast emptiness between the stars. Meteon and her sisters. Aye, sisters. She has a great many of them, and they have already departed on their journey, traveling to one star and then the next in search of life, as one might expect. Exploration on such a grand scale is rife with difficulties, and thus far I've naught to show for it. But I have faith that we will make some manner of discovery ere long. And when we do, I should be glad to share our findings with you, in gratitude for your kindness. It's getting rather late. We had best find our beds. It would not do for both of us to be sleep-deprived on the morrow. Come, Meteon. Let us head back.
All right!
Weird feelings right now. Hermes is a fine character. Hermes is an interesting character. But the whole point of Fandaniel is that he hates being tied to his past life. So Fandaniel as an Ammon, I like Hermes. Hermes is fine. Hermes is interesting, but that doesn't in turn make Fandaniel interesting because they're different characters, really. It doesn't really matter how interesting Hermes is because he's the past life, not the current Fandaniel, so they're different characters. It doesn't matter. It's complicated and weird, and I feel like this is the part where they try to make Fandaniel sympathetic, and I'm just like, cool, they're different characters. You know? I'm glad Hermes saw the flowers. Thank you, Mana. I will help. It will help, I hope. Today will be difficult for him. Were you able to get some rest? Please do not hesitate to let us know if you're feeling tired. I worry we might exhaust your scarce reserves of ether. The prodigial familiar returns, and after causing all manner of trouble while we were in our meeting, I'm sure. An all too brief interlude, perhaps, but it is time I attend my next task. As Emet-Selk and Hythlodaeus are aware, we reached a verdict regarding the fate of the Lycoans. 7 were created for observation, and all 7 must be unmade. Duros has followed the correct protocols, and as chief overseer, I could find no fault in his judgment. The Lycoons will disrupt the natural order, ravaging and consuming other species until they themselves starve and perish. They cannot be released into the wild, and they cannot be allowed to remain here in Elpis. I intend to partition the Bureau of the Architect to have the concept preserved and as a restricted purpose hazardous life form. Hythlodeus has pledged to support me in this endeavor. Yet whatever the Bureau decides, the existing Lycoons have served their purpose. Duros has already isolated the creature and is preparing to carry out the necessary measures. I will join him forthwith. It is my duty to witness the conclusion to this study. If you are resolved, then we have but to accompany you. Of course, let us be off. We return to the main aisle. Duros, are you hurt? What happened here? They caught me off guard. I had them bound with ethereal shackles, but they became frenzied, even more so than usual, and broke free. I was able to stop 4. The other 3 escaped. I see them. 2 have taken to the air above the 12 Wonders. The last is up ahead, lurking in the fields. You and Mana handle that one. The pair in the sky you can leave to me. If this is how it must end, then so be it. I will render assistance to Emmett Selk, unneeded though it is. Medion, you are to stay here with Duros. But Hermes... The Lycoons must be reverted. I would spare you the pain, and mine. This is my burden, not yours, but if you are intent on helping, then please follow my lead. Stay with Hermes, Mana. He will need someone when the time comes. I appreciate your help and lament that it's necessary. There is our quarry, within striking distance at present, but if it feels threatened, it may well flee beyond our reach. Here is my plan. You will approach slowly in full view and draw the Lycoon's attention. Now, I warn you, its abilities are as fiery as its temperament. Once it spots you, it will unleash orbs of flame. But fear not, by my measure, you are more than equal to the task. Withstand the onslaught for a few brief moments, and that will give me time to catch it unawares. Ready? Then let's begin.
Now. Oh. Forgive me. Please, forgive me. May you and your kin find peace. Wherever your souls may drift in the underworld, may you find tranquil seas. Be not forgotten. In concept endure. To reclaim form and one day live again. Serve not the star, or any purpose save your own. Live again, if that be your desire. Hate, if that be your want. We are worthy, but leave your suffering behind. Lay down your burdens, be born anew. Fly high, fly free.
Join the convocation, Hermes. You do not belong here.
Leave to replace another. To be replaced. It changes nothing. Tell me, do you think it right that we sacrifice all these lives for the sake of the star? And when the star has reached perfection, what then? If all who are satisfied choose to die, shall we all die in satisfaction? I do not know. Were I to take up the seat of Van Daniel, it would be tantamount to approving my predecessor's death. I do not know if it is right. And to be torn by such thoughts, I do not know if I am fit to represent mankind.
Hermes! Please don't be angry. It hurts so.
Forgive me. If you would still consider me in spite of everything, I beg some time to gather my thoughts. Meanwhile, Hythlodaeus, I fear I must trouble you to attend to the others.
'Tis no trouble at all. Take as long as you require.
And you, my friend, I pray you find that which you seek.
I expect we have some few matters to discuss. Shall we return to the 12 Wonders for a time?
Aye.
It has been quite an exciting visit for you thus far. Oh, you weren't injured, were you? Good, good. The other Lycones have been taken care of. The incident is resolved and life in Elpis continues as normal, or ends as the case may be. Rationally speaking, I understand Hermes' argument. No matter how well deserved the rest, there is a pang of sadness when a colleague leaves us. Yet never has a departure caused me such grief as Hermes appears to feel. What must it be like to experience such torment? I don't know what answer he's searching for, or if it's within our power to give it. But I believe he would make a fine Van Daniel, and that if he rejects us out of hand, we will all be lesser for it. Oh, 87! Oh man. Where to now? If there is anywhere you would like to visit before we leave, I shall be glad to show you the way. Hermes has not yet outright refused his position with the convocation, merely postponed the decision. As such, I may as well resume my assessment. If we cannot accompany him, then I will content myself with questioning his colleagues. Ever the pragmatist, then allow me to remain your humble guide. And what of you, Mana? Will you continue along with us? Wonderful. Our fellowship travels on unbroken. I say we explore another part of Elpis and see what new encounters there are to be had. If you would follow me, we will first head back towards Anagnorisis. This feels like the first time in ages I've been the same level as the MSQ. Didn't we part ways with Hermes not far from here? Given the size of Elpis, I expect our paths will cross again before long. From here, we follow the path northwards to Notonius. There, we will find one of the teleporters which facilitate travel between the islands of Elpis. First-time travelers must be accompanied by someone with the requisite permission, which I have previously been granted. We only need to use the device together once, and henceforth you will have leave to use it freely. Shall we? Unless the need is pressing, I won't be tracking Hermes with my ethereal sight. 'Tis poor manners to spy on someone's comings and goings in such a fashion, so don't ask. Social conventions notwithstanding, perceiving ether requires deliberate and intense concentration, and we otherwise keep our eyes on the corporeal world. Here we are, Notonius. This teleporter will take us to Calamelios Zephyros, the western island. That's it right there, looming large over us. Step this way, and we can soon admire the view from above.
I present to you Calamelios Zephyros. Here you will find a number of testing facilities, as well as the observation hub of Poiton Oikos. Right then. Let's begin by... Well, well. An Arraius. How delightful.
And what, pray tell, is that?
Ah, that's a new species of shark. We approved the concept but a few days ago. Sharks are among the most popular sea creatures. Rare is the day when someone does not submit a new concept. At first, they were largely orthodox, consideration given to such things as size and environmental impact. And then a whimsical someone thought to bestow it with flight, another superior intelligence. And then the floodgates burst, concepts with multiple heads, or arms and legs, and so on and so forth. It was getting absurd. A part of me wanted to tell them to go away and find something else to create, but in the end I couldn't deny their passion. And here we are.
That was too close. Are you unharmed? Well now, if it isn't a pair of familiar faces.
Banar, that we should meet you here.
As I mentioned earlier, the better part of the convocation holds that when we retire is when we return to the star. Well, she is not among said majority. Even after stepping down, she carries on with her work.
Stepping down? From what? What position?
Banar is her name, and she is the previous Azim.
Oh. Okay. I see.
It has been a while, Hythlodaeus. You look well. Less so, Emmet Selk. I dare say the lines upon your brow have both deepened and doubled in number. A shame for one so young. You must make an effort to frown less often.
Easier said than done, thanks to your unruly successor.
How is she, if I may ask?
Incorrigible as ever. Rushed headlong into a volcano on the brink of eruption just the other day. I should be glad to share the tale in its entirety later, if you're so inclined.
Oh, you know I am. Now then, you are? I say, have you perchance come from the future? I do not believe we have ever met, yet I sense my magic upon you. Therefore, if I wove the enchantment, I could only have done so at a later point in time.
What manner of magic is this, if I may ask?
A traveler's ward, of course. It prevents the corruption of one's ether. Primals, you say? But I'm not familiar with such beings. But if they enthrall by warping the balance of ether, then yes, the magic would afford you a measure of protection. I gather from your question that you are not ignorant to its presence.
Hold on. From the future? That's absurd.
What is it? Are you unable to speak of the matter?
The reality to which you must return exists as a result of the final days. You cannot reshape the past to undo the tragedies of the present.
So, your actions here will not change your history, but they may yet affect the course of ours. How very exciting! I'm quite fond of delving into the unknown, and there's naught more unknown than the future. Until a moment finally arrives, we cannot know for certain what will come to pass, regardless of our supposed foreknowledge, so you needn't worry for us. More importantly, that you should go to such great lengths as to travel unto the past bespeaks the gravity of your quest. Will you not reveal it to us? Mayhap we can be of aid to your cause.
If this is true, then you've been keeping quite the secret to yourself. As a representative of the Convocation, I will hear it all. Your identity, purpose, everything.
Why don't we move to a place more conducive to calm conversation? I've been working here for some days now at an old friend's behest. If it is agreeable, we may make use of my accommodation at Poiton Oikos. We were meant to meet. I am certain of it. Else I wouldn't have marked you so clearly, and sent you unto myself in the past. It's precisely the sort of mischief I would get up to. And quite inspired, if I do say so myself.
And there I thought you were a harmless stray familiar. As far as I'm concerned, this nebulous talk of the future, this and changing history can wait. First, I mean to find out exactly who you are and what you hope to achieve here. The future, our future. I am deathly curious to hear more. My apologies, but before we move along, a colleague has tasked me with a matter which I'd rather not leave unresolved. It involves finding a certain concept engraved crystal and the quick-fingered Aureus, which made off with it. An Aureus, you say? I think we might have seen the culprit before being distracted by that business with the shark. Would you like to follow its ethereal trail? That would, of course, lead us only to the Aureus. There is no guarantee it hasn't dropped or stashed away the crystal you seek. Please, even that much would be enormously helpful. While you are hunting down the thief, I can follow behind and scour the forest floor just in case. Could I ask you to join the search? I would appreciate another pair of eyes to cover the land to the west of here. Many thanks. There's a small bridge leading into Poitin Oikos. Let us meet up there once we've exhausted our efforts. The problem you present is vexing enough without adding the old asm into the equation. And she wonders why these lines upon my brow grow deeper, when she herself wields the hammer and chisel. The asms, both mentor and student, are a force to be reckoned with. I find them a delight, personally, but they have a habit of making Emetzelk look as if he bit down on a sour grape. Our last searcher returns. I am afraid the Aureus no longer had the crystal, nor was I able to find it as I followed in its wake. I don't suppose you fared any better. The crystal, well done. Wonderful. Now I can focus on your tale without that missing concept nagging at my mind. Have you always had a knack for finding things? Oh, you too? Some of us seem destined to always be searching for ourselves and for others. Long ago, when I held the seat of Azim, I was forever trekking back and forth across the star in search of answers to people's problems. Naturally, the need for such journeys had lessened considerably since I entrusted the position to my whimsical successor. Yet I am still eager to come running should an old acquaintance or new interest require my personal attention. That is what brings me to Elpis, in fact. Many times has my presence been requested, my opinions sought concerning the habitat of this or that creation. Agreeing to help locate that missing crystal was a minor distraction, which now promises to become a major revelation. How strange and wonderful it is, the way one thing leads to another, wouldn't you agree? Thank you again for your timely help. Now then, 'tis time I return this stolen property. If you would go on ahead to my accommodation, I will join you as soon as I have attended to that task. Follow the path straight ahead to the building at the top of the slope. I have the entire place to myself, so we can speak without fear of being disturbed or overheard. You needn't be nervous around Vana. Those white robes mark her as one of fair and impartial reasoning. Aside from the emissary, Elidibus, such garb is only worn by those who have stepped down from public office to serve as advisors. Whatever you have to say, she will listen without judgment. Yes, this will be far more comfortable than interrogating you on the side of the road. Welcome to my temporary abode. Please make yourself at home while I put on some tea.
wonderful aroma. I feel more relaxed already.
Would that I had sweetmeats to offer, but I travel light out of habit. There's plenty of hot water though, so please have as much tea as you like. Now then, will you tell us your tale?
Why don't you start from the beginning?
Am I really just telling him everything? Emmett, I kill you in the future. It's funny.
Preposterous. Utterly preposterous.
While not the words I would have chosen, I too have my doubts. Much of it borders on the incredulous. What of you, Vanar?
Not knowing the precise details of the first final days, it is difficult to determine the veracity of the tale. Supposing it is all true, I must ask myself why I would do what I did. Why would I feel I had no recourse but to oppose the 14 and create this Hydaelyn? Circumstances change, of course, but it would not have been an easy decision regardless. No, there must have been a reason. One compelling enough to force me to take such drastic measures. Then there is the Elpis flower, which I said would serve as a guide. That it's of import to your mission is plain, but your presence here leads me to believe that this place also holds significance. But what could it be? What are we meant to accomplish?
Might it not be simply thus? In the future, whence she came, the final days could not be averted. Mankind has no choice but to flee the star. By alerting us to that eventuality, perhaps you wish to pave the way for other futures.
Theoretically speaking, it is a possibility. Yet if that were my primary objective, I see no reason to guide our friend to Elpis specifically. The capital and Amarot, or even my own home would be more logical destinations.
True, true. I note also that Hydaelyn did not specify a point in time to which she must return. By this, it may be inferred that it was not critical that we should meet.
Alternately, she had reason to believe that our paths would converge. coincidental though it may seem.
This is quite a puzzle. And we do not have all the pieces.
Hardly any. But we do have one immutable fact. If the final days are indeed as described, they will bring death to all that I hold dear. Yet despite being afforded long years of preparation, the only provisions I could make were for flight. Nay, my first and foremost endeavor would be to find a way to forestall the coming doom.
Given that even the 14 failed, mayhap you deemed it impossible.
Nothing is impossible. This I have always believed. And if Hydaelyn is indeed me, she would believe the same.
Listen to yourself. Are you seriously entertaining the notion that you are a messianic figure in some far-fetched tale? Well, I will not. I refuse to accept that our world could be undone by some unforeseen calamity. I also take offense to my portrayal as a megalomaniacal madman. To sacrifice oneself for the star is a noble act, and I would hold those who gave themselves to this zodiac in the highest esteem. Yet, you claim I recreated Amarot and populated it with phantoms of our people? A bizarre indulgence that would be insulting to their memory. Worse still, I even invited you there. Literally invited my own downfall. Why would I do something so idiotic and inexplicable? Now, I will allow that the hypothetical task of restoring our world would be daunting in the extreme. The thought of having to bear such a burden for 1,000 lives horrifies me. But I would never forsake my duty. I would never forsake my brethren. You do not know me. I've had my fill of your fiction. I will return to my duty, and you will not bother me again.
Emmett Selk! Wait!
You've seen much of Elpis already. If you have any observations to share, I should like to hear them. Ah yes, the energy distinct from ether. Though not my field, I have a basic understanding of Dynamis. And you say Hermes researched the phenomenon in the course of creating Meteon? Yes, I believe this warrants further investigation. With that settled, just time for action. The missing pieces of the puzzle are here, I'm certain of it. And when you find them, the picture my future self has painted will be complete, and you will have your answer. And suffice it to say, I will aid you in your quest. Have faith. If Emmett Selk is the man Azum described to me, we've not seen the last of him.
Shall we begin our investigation then? I am equipped acquainted with Hermes, of course, but only as a visitor received by the chief overseer of Elpis. Of the man himself, I know only that which is common knowledge. Thus, I suggest we fall back on the tried and true method of conversing with the locals. The observers who live here can surely tell us more of Hermes and Medion, and I have a good idea where we might begin. Okay, so I do enjoy getting to see these characters, but this is getting kind of silly. Final Fantasy is no stranger to time travel plots. Shadowbringers had a time travel plot in it. However, I think time travel plots should be used sparingly, and this is a little heavy-handed, so I don't like literally telling these characters what they're going to do, because that's silly. I don't like that I just told Emmett that he was the final boss of Shadowbringers. Like, no wonder he got mad. I don't like telling Vina that she becomes, like, a god. Like, I don't like that. And she's like, wow, that's crazy. I'm like, yeah, Vina, it is. See you, the woman standing in front of yonder building. Her name is Ismene. She is the one who made arrangements for my stay in Elpis, and from what I recall, she has held her position for quite some time. Chances are she can provide us with some insights. Go and ask your questions. I will help with drawing out answers if need be, but I leave the choice of topic up to you. Let us speak with Ismene. You know more of this coming calamity, so I think it is best you lead the conversation. Questions for me? Well, I suppose I have no other pressing duties at the moment. Okay. Greetings, Ismene. My friend here is desperately curious about Chief Hermes, and I was wondering if you might indulge her. Certainly, Mistress Vina. Anything to be of service. What do you wish to know? Well, I can only answer from my own experience, but I would describe him as a quiet man, reserved you might say, and occasionally somewhat poor with his choice of words. His reticent nature, however, does not prevent him from carrying out his duties as Chief Overseer. The man is a walking archive when it comes to life forms. He can discuss any species in incredible detail and is the leading authority on concepts with the power of flight. I hope that answers your question. Was there anything else? It's no secret that she is a highly unusual familiar. Of late, the chief often makes his rounds with her, like a mother hen raising her chick. I understand that she is able to read emotions and communicate directly with one's mind. Exactly how she was created with that talent, however, is a mystery to me. My apologies. I wish I could explain her nature in more depth, but I've not had the occasion to discuss it with Chief Hermes. I beg your pardon? I've known Chief Hermes for many years. Though I cannot say we are close, he has never withheld information to the detriment of our duties. Is that what you mean? If that is what you mean. Forgive us. We seem to have veered slightly off course here. Is there perhaps someone else who could tell us more about Medion? That would be Timaeus. He has a similar expertise with flying concepts, and is more than eager to discuss the subject. You'll find him conducting his observations on the banks of the stream, somewhere to the east. Oh, and unless you take a particular joy in rambling discourse, I suggest you keep your questions concise. We shall keep that in mind. Thank you for your patience and your insight. Think nothing of it. If there is aught else you need during your stay, please do not hesitate to ask. Come, Mana. I think we've taken enough of Ismene's time. Our investigation is off to a fine start, wouldn't you agree? From here, I propose that we split up. I shall continue making inquiries with the resident observers if you could track down the colleague Ismene mentioned. While I did feel compelled to interject once or twice during that previous conversation, you seem more than capable of drawing forth the answers you seek. All I ask is that you watch your footing around the stream. We can meet back here once you finish speaking with Timaeus. Yes, I am Timaeus, but please keep your voice down. You'll startle the birds. So, what is it you wish to speak about? A fellow enthusiast, are you? Well, settle in and we can discuss the finer points of this fascinating craft. My deep and abiding love for avian artistry can be traced back to when I was but a young boy, stricken by the transcendent beauty of glorious golden-feathered creature my father had designed. It was then and there that I vowed to one day surpass that masterpiece. And there he goes. And thus did I secure an observer's role here in Elpis, and at last realize my childhood ambition. Here, the dreams I once dreamed are an everyday reality, in which I find fulfillment through the research and creation of new flying life forms. An abridged recounting of events, as was doubtless to your disappointment. Is there any specific part you would like me to expound on? You were hoping for my opinion on Chief Hermes' creations, then why didn't you say so? Those beings which soar through the clouds, majestic and graceful, are ever a favorite of creators. Even now, with so many varieties in existence, the flood of newly imagined concepts continues unabated. What sets the Chief's creations apart, however, is how they benefit from his boundless knowledge of the celestial realm. Birds that climb so high that they disappear from view, others which traverse the boundless sky in moments, and all without riding the currents. I know none save he who can conceive of such marvels. Even we who prize elegance of form above all else are dumbfounded by his genius. My opinion on that matter would be superficial at best. Despite my admiration for Medion as a concept, I have never delved too deeply into the inner workings of her nature. I know that she has a gift for communicating via emotions, but otherwise her abilities are a mystery to me. If Chief Hermes should choose to submit Medion's concept to the Bureau of the Architect, then will the design be registered for public scrutiny? Analyzing a colleague's creation before that step is frowned upon, to say the least. Of course, if he came to me, a fellow artisan, looking for advice, that would be an entirely different story. Dynamis and Entelechis. Those terms do sound vaguely familiar. Was there not a flower made here in Elpis which exhibited properties of one or the other? It must have been centuries since I last heard anyone speak of such things. Has there been a resurgence of interest? Then why bring up the subject? I'm flattered you sought my insight, but I cannot afford to neglect my duties for the sake of idle chatter. Now, I really must return to my observations. Surely you have your own tasks to attend to? Ah, good timing. I finished my own investigations not long ago. So, have you any new findings to share? I see, even an expert in the field had little understanding of Medion's capabilities, let alone an awareness of Dynamis. My questions resulted in much the same answers. Hermes' colleagues view Medion as his personal project and can provide no details beyond those which you just told me, which leads me to believe that the only person with any significant knowledge of Dynamis is Hermes himself. Yes, we've made some progress here, but more information is needed if we are to reach any definitive conclusions.